fellow classmates and fellow entrepreneurs. This is like take 5 of my videos, so I'm just gonna go with it. I excuse the commotion if you hear any. I'm upstairs, but somehow I can still hear all the kids screaming and everything else. So let's just jump in. So the first question for this week in discussing our use of Facebook is how can one use Facebook to help shape their personal brand? Using Facebook, there's a tremendous potential for shaping and growing our personal brands, just simply for the fact that there is a huge amount of traffic. There are over 2 billion active users now on Facebook. I believe in our text it said there was 1 billion at the time that the book was written. And so there's just a huge amount of time spent on Facebook every day by all of these people across the world. The status updates and the connections that can be made is just astounding. So a business owner can utilize Facebook very easily to help them shape their brand in a lot of ways that John described in great detail in the live lesson. Some of these include posting content such as thought leader articles to our pages, our websites, and then sharing them on our personal and professional pages if we have them. Another is to be strategic about our content. Professionalize your profile. That means taking out anything that wouldn't reflect you in a positive light. And then just communicating with our network when we are in need of helping to grow our brand. We can just reach out to our friends and ask them to help us expand in ways via Facebook. Another way that we can utilize Facebook for shaping our brand is making sure that we keep a good etiquette when we post, personalizing invitations to make connections with others, presenting a positive and professional image via Facebook at all times, and sharing only photographs that are professional in nature. And by that, they don't mean photographs that are taken by a professional, but rather photographs that contain only content that would reflect professionally on you. And the next question was, how can you leverage your friends on Facebook to create new business opportunities? And there are several ways that we can do this. With a huge audience that we can come in contact with through Facebook daily, business owners and individuals alike have so many opportunities to network. We can leverage our friends in helping us do this and create new business opportunities. And one way that we can do this is by asking our friends to go to our page if we have a professional page. Not to be confused with a professional profile, of course, but go to our page and like it. And follow our page and then share our page with their friends as well. This will expand our audience. And that goes back to the invitations. You can send out personalized invitations to your friends to be able to share that page. And John was saying you can do that up to the first few thousand people. You can send a massive group invitation, and it will send each individual person an invitation, but you should still include that personalized message just to make them feel like you care. Another way we can utilize our friends in helping us grow our following and our brand is to reach out to our friends and ask them. He was stating, and as most of us realize, our friends do care about what's going on in our lives. They are nosy by nature, just as we are. So we want to keep up with those who are on our list and remain active. And one way that we can do that is just to simply tell them, hey, here's what's going on. I could really use your help. Do you mind? And most of them don't mind taking a quick few minutes to help you with something like that. Another way we can leverage our friends is by joining groups. And this can be groups that we already have current friends within that we may share a passion or a hobby or an interest with, and then reaching out to people within the group that way. Or we can just join groups of things that we're interested in, whether we have friends in those groups or not, and reaching out to people there through maybe a post that someone posts that we're interested in or that has to do with our brand, or just taking note of active members of the group who are people that you have things in common with, or you like their personality or the content that they post, and just making connections through it that way. And then after time passes and you've made more connections with that person, you can become, more well acquainted with them, and then approach them about any business opportunities or prospects at that time. And finally, John suggests one sneaky way that we can go about getting clients, and this is one that some people question, but John stated was not immoral in any way, and that was to friend our competitors on Facebook. And that's not only to keep up with them and what they're doing and make sure that we're posting content that they would also be posting, and keeping up with the Joneses, so to speak, with the type of content that we're posting, and to remain relevant, but also to watch for any deals that they may be up to. And by that, John was giving the example of someone going into a meeting and closing a deal with a big brand like Target, and then posting about it on Facebook. Then if you were also interested in obtaining a deal with them, then you would take note of that company and the person's name, and then you would go to LinkedIn and reach out to that person that way. And that's kind of a more sneaky way to go about it, but you can try and get that company's business rather than your Facebook friend or colleague. According to Salpeter, we should also keep our personal and professional lives separate from one another on Facebook, only interlacing the two with when one applies to the other, as John stated. So for me, I'm a floral designer, and one thing I might do to get some post interaction or get some views on some posts is, say I was doing a wedding, I could have my little girl come and play with a few of the flowers and make her own little arrangement while I'm doing some of the wedding work, and then I could post that to my business page and drum up some potential clients that way. People always love to see that we are a real person just like them. We aren't someone that's unapproachable. They want to know about us, and they also want to see that they can reach out to us. So just them getting to know our character and things like that. These little things can help them do that and help us get more business that way. In the live lesson, John stated, though, that he would not necessarily do it that way. I mean, of course, he keeps his professional and private profiles, but the main point that Salpeter was making was that we could set up a second profile and use one for professional and one for private. But John said rather than doing that, he would utilize the audience selection tool that Facebook has within the area where we post, and it's just where you can select whether you want everybody to be able to see it or you want just your friends to be able to see it. Having said that, though, John states, just like with any other platform, we should keep in mind that if it's on Facebook, it is not private. Even if we share it to just our friends or just people that we have set to close acquaintances, acquaintances versus friends versus close friends. There's all these categories on Facebook. And no matter who we select for the audience, once it's on Facebook, it's on Facebook. And if somebody was to take a screenshot of us doing something that wouldn't reflect well upon us for our careers, they could share it, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally for malice. They could share it with others, and that could get back to our boss or our prospective employer or a prospective client, and it could be detrimental to not only our image but also to our career or our brand. So we just always need to keep that in mind. So now that I've gone 10 minutes, I'm going to end this thing and see y'all later.